The In-Home Supportive Services Program, or IHSS, makes it possible for you to remain safely in your own home, where you can enjoy personal freedom and independence and continue being a part of your community. When you are approved as an IHSS recipient, you become an employer responsible for hiring, training, supervising, and even changing your provider employees. The purpose of this video is to provide some information and suggestions to help you as the employer supervise your provider employee. Once you have completed the interview process and have hired your provider, it's time to get to work. Remember, as the IHSS recipient, you are the employer, so you will need to supervise your provider. If you've never done something like this before, you may feel a bit awkward being in this role for the first time. But don't worry, it's normal. There are things that you can do that will help build a positive relationship with your provider employee. And it all starts with communication. Having clear communication is the first step to a positive working relationship. That means talking and listening. Don't forget, communication is a two-way street. Start things off by letting your provider know what tasks must be completed each time they work for you. Talk about how you like things done so they can do the job in a way that works for you. Remember to be clear, be patient, and be specific. There are many different ways to do various tasks, but only one of them may work for you. Be sure to share this with your provider so there won't be any hard feelings later down the road.
My providers do just about everything for me. They help me take a shower in the morning, they help me use the restroom, they get me dressed, they brush my teeth, wash my face, fix my hair, clean my house.
She'll make my bed, scour my bathroom.
She helps go shopping, she helps go to the doctors. I would say just about everything I need to be able to live independently, she helps me with.
I do, however, train my providers and ask them to put everything back where they find it from. You know, like if they're putting on my deodorant, I like them to put the deodorant back in the same place where they found it from. So when my next caregiver comes tomorrow morning and needs to put my deodorant on, I know exactly where it is, so I don't need to spend 15 or 20 minutes looking for things.
Just remember to be reasonable with your expectations. It may take your provider a few times before they get a feel for how you like things done. And don't forget to give your provider feedback. There's nothing wrong with telling them that they're doing a good job. Or if they still aren't quite getting it right yet, politely let them know that too. Since you're the supervisor, you need to make sure your provider is completing all their tasks within the authorized time. And remember, your provider is there to do only the tasks and services that have been authorized by IHSS. You should not ask them to do anything that hasn't been approved. Part of your job as the employer is to set expectations for your provider. Some things to keep in mind are: your home is a workplace, so they shouldn't be bringing children, pets, or anyone else to your home. Keep the visiting to a minimum. Your provider should spend their time working, not visiting with you while they're in your home. If they are working for you during mealtime, they should bring their own lunch or dinner with them and not eat your food. And they should not be using your property for their own needs. Remember to protect your privacy. It's important for your provider to know about your health conditions and family contacts in case of an emergency. However, keep other personal information private. Also, protect access to your checkbook, bank accounts, credit cards, financial information, money, or other valuables that are kept in your home. Your provider should not share your name, address, phone number, health, family situation, or behaviors with any unauthorized people. If your provider is authorized to shop and run errands for you and will be handling your money, there are some important steps to take to protect both of you when you give them money to spend.
If I do need to have a new caregiver go an errand for me, I'll try to go with them if I can. If I can't go with them, I will try to minimize my shopping list to something that I could give them, a $20 bill for.
doing things like shopping for my recipient, it definitely involves a lot of accountability on both parties and communication. We both need to know if I'm dealing with cash, how much cash I'm dealing with, how much cash I'm returning. It involves receipts and just pretty much your general accountability process.
If your provider will frequently be making purchases for you, you should keep a log. In it, you can keep track of how much money was given to them and how much change was returned. And you should both write your initials by each transaction so there are no surprises. There are times when it just may not be a good fit between you and your provider. The decision to replace your provider should be considered carefully. It is difficult and usually unpleasant to tell someone that you no longer need their services. It is also hard work to find a new provider. Before you replace your provider, you might want to make a list of your provider's shortcomings and the improvements you would like to see in their job performance, and then respectfully discuss it with them. If your provider is willing to work on their skills in order to meet your expectations, it may eliminate the need for you to find a new provider. However, if you do decide to change providers, make sure you carefully plan for the change. In most cases, it is best to give your employee advance notice of the change so they have time to look for a new job. They may choose to leave right away, so have a backup plan so that you aren't left without support. If they work during the notice time, you can use that time to find a new provider to take their place. If you need assistance, contact your public authority office. And remember, even if you are unhappy with their work, you must pay your provider for any hours that they have already worked for you. Your personal safety is what's most important. If your provider is not being respectful or is treating you in an abusive or threatening manner, you should end their employment quickly and seek help if you need it. Abuse can occur in many different ways, including physical or sexual abuse, financial abuse, neglect, and psychological abuse or intimidation. If you are being abused, even by a family member, get help right away by contacting 911 and Adult Protective Services. One last thing, you must always notify your social worker when you change providers. Patience, practice, and good communication are the keystones to building a supportive and respectful relationship between you and your IHSS provider. This is important because with the help of your provider, you can continue to lead a safe and independent life in your own home.
I think the key elements between for the relationship between a caregiver and a recipient, the main one is trust.
The recipient and the caregiver have to be a team.
She will come and do anything I need, and I barely have to ask, and I know she's willing to come and do what I need, and I love her for it.
3 words that describe my relationship with my provider is, let's see,
Respect,
Caring,
special,
Teamwork, closeness,
and reliable.
Humor. We have to be able to laugh because no situation is too serious that you can't see a light at the end of the tunnel.
you fall in love with them because you depend on them. This is your walking cane, if I can say that, or my crutch. Because I cannot do for myself many things anymore.
This is, this is something that's wonderful. How could you replace something like this? You couldn't.
We hope that this video has provided you with some helpful information about supervising and building a relationship with your IHSS provider. For additional IHSS information and resources, contact your local county IHSS office or visit www.cdss.ca.gov.